These university protests are getting way too out of hand, because tell me why I just saw a video of someone protesting on an online class. How was that possible to even protest on an online class? So you telling me that you just joined that lecture to sing? You had your computer open on the lecture and you decided to just had your computer there and you started singing. How does that make sense? That is innovative protesting. I don't think there's a word for that yet. I've never heard of someone joining an online lecture to protest. This is a different level of commitment. Also, I don't know why the lecturer didn't just mute the guy. I'm a bit confused.
I am tired that the students at UCT are always being labeled as the criminals, as the destruction, as the hindrance to education. I'm so tired of the media misconstruing, and for everyone saying, why are they protesting? They're the top university in Africa. NSFAS, the government funding agency for students, has a cap. This is one of the many problems, but that cap for something like student housing is like 50k, and at UCT there's only one res that can accommodate that, and it's for postgrads, single room. There are thousands of students that are going to have to fight the institution to study, not because of any other reason but finances. So students are using their voices to get heard because meetings don't work, because debates don't work, because no intervention where they're working with the university works. So we have to embarrass ourselves. As UCT students, we have to embarrass ourselves, and we have to make a name for ourselves. We have to reach media. We have to go through the extremities so that we can safeguard other students, because unlike some other universities in the country, we actually care about our students, and we want to all start the year, not have the ones who are able to financially start the year and leave the rest behind. No one's being left behind.
There's a few things that will piss me off in life, and one of them is a stupid adult. You're gonna piss me off. The students protesting at UCT are not being entitled. They are genuinely asking for help, and that's why you've not seen a single flame, a smoke from anywhere. They're not burning anything, they're not violent with anything. They're simply saying, we are standing with our brothers and sisters who can't afford. We're not going to go to lectures, and we are asking for you to please not have lectures, to show solidarity in getting them help so that they can get education. Why is this education important for them? The reasons are obviously clear, but we're going to explain for the Karens who keep asking, why did you leave home if you didn't know where we were going to stay? We left home because the conditions of homelessness in Cape Town are so much better than the conditions we left at home. There is nothing better. We are better off homeless in Cape Town at UCT, at a place that we know we are only 1 year away from touching a piece of paper that will open doors that can't open without this paper. We're better off here than at home. There's nothing good there. If we could get jobs, Jay, like you're saying, go get a job, take leave of absence, go get a job, we would have done that. We are so desperate for the money. We're so desperate for the bread. We're willing to leave home, not knowing where we're going to stay, with the faith and hope that our marks will speak for us, that our efforts will be recognized, that from the 1 billion that was received by UCT, we will be considered. Just to be considered. I'm just so disappointed that the stupidity will come from Dala. It's not even one person, from Abantu Dala, and it's people of color. Tell me why. From the people who were squatting there, from what I saw with my own eyes, not a single person is white. There's not a single white person. If there are, there's very few white people who are in the struggle with the many black students who can't afford an education right now. And what's the reason for that? You can't tell me that all of them were planned for. You can't tell me that all of them got financial aid. All of them, only them. And from the people who did not get any kind of financial assistance are only black people? Black people with good marks. Oh, come on, man. Don't even take me there. Don't take me to the R word. Don't take me to the R word. Do not take me to the R word, because it's not going to be nice. It's not going to be nice. Now, addressing all the Karens who are being ignorant, we cannot go home because the conditions there are worse than what we have here. We are not fighting. We are asking for help financially. We are asking for you to allow us to study with the debt that we have. We will pay it off when we work. We're asking for you to actually erase this debt because you financially are able more than we are, and you is UCT. We are not being violent we are even speaking in your native language so that you understand us better. Because somehow when we speak our home languages, it scares you guys off. Masithi awungitsheli lokho, we are being violent and there's a need for 50 policemen need to cover a square kilometer, each square kilometer of UCT premises. Scaring us off with guns, making it uncomfortable for us to exercise the right to protest. A very clean, not even one paper littered from the protests. This is the cleanest protest I've ever seen. Which shows you how much we are actually to accommodate us, to give us shelter while we pursue this degree that will break the cycle of poverty that we left back home. Go get a job. Give it to me. You think there's so many jobs to have? Then just give it to me. The same way you gave it to Cassandra, your cousin. The same way you gave it to Tammy, your niece. I don't have a Veronica auntie that's going to hand me over a job. So I'm here pleading with UCT to please accommodate me while I pursue my distinctions. It's not even 50s, it's not even 60s, it's good marks that I'm getting. Stand in solidarity with the students at UCT protesting for fees to fall, although we did it already 10 years ago. Veronica, stop it. Craig, stop it. Gwebes, stop it right now.
And but do you see the fact that this creator is so baffled by someone who they think is sorted and that they probably have their laptop in front of them, they can access the lectures, they're probably safe. The fact that the creator is baffled that this person would then go ahead and protest on behalf of other students that are struggling with housing is so on brand for white South Africans. It's so on brand for them. It's not shocking at all. White South Africans cannot conceptualize a better South Africa for all. Like, they just cannot do it. Given our history, I can see why, but like, it's crazy because they don't even care to imagine a world where every student of this country has access to equal opportunity when it comes to education, and they don't care that those students get like affordable housing. It's got nothing to do with them. In fact, those students suffering is always just a bother to them because these protests happen every year. Protests around funding and housing, they happen every year. And instead of being annoyed in a productive way where they're like, Tina, we're tired of these protests that happen and they disrupt our classes, why don't we put pressure on the university, put pressure on the government funding scheme, NSFAS, to make things right? They don't do that. They don't do that with their annoyance. Like, their annoyance is purely selfish. Like, your suffering is bothering me. It's just bothering me. That's why I'm not, even their patriotism feels so hollow. It just feels so hollow because all their complaints about this country and like wanting to make this country a better place never include like improving the plight of the majority of the people in this country. Never that. In fact, the reason that our country has gone to the dogs for them is that they've had to deal with us now. Like, they can't just ignore us like they had been for the last 300 plus years. They have to deal with the consequences of the brutality of their arrival here, and they are so bothered by it in the most disgusting way. And what sucks about it is that like, they don't even have the sense to go complain in their little corners. They come here and complain to us still. Like, why can't you tell that you sound like a dickhead? Why can't you hear that when you speak? It's so obvious. Do you think that abantu that are protesting want to be doing all that? Is it fun? Does it look fun to you? Does it look like a good time to you? No one wants to do that. No one wants to do that, yet it happens every single year because the issue is not properly addressed by these institutions, both the funding institutions and the tertiary institutions. Like, they are not dealing with the issue well. That's why it's always going to be an issue every single year. And even the notion of, well, if you can't afford uni, then you shouldn't come, is so out of touch because in South Africa, given the way our economy is set up and the job market is set up, university is your best chance of getting like a well-paying job, of being able to support yourself. And even then, it's not even 100%, but it's your best chance. Even getting a job straight out of high school is near impossible for Black youth in this country. Like, a well-paying job with real benefits is impossible. So it makes no sense to want people to stay away from uni if they can't afford it, and then they get underpaid, and then they get into crime, and you guys complain about the high crime rates in this country. Like, it's so foolish because even our minimum wage, I think it's like around 4,000 now. Imagine living off of 4,000, guys, for a month. Like, please. And mind you, none of these businesses or companies want to pay the minimum wage. They still think it's too much. They want to exploit people every chance they get. They don't want to offer any benefits. It's cruel. And what's even more cruel is thinking that people voicing their suffering is just a waste of your time. So yeah, guys, Nina, that still have Umonde and the energy to, support and boost up these white creators on these apps, on these platforms. Nabo bazonvelela eventually, and that's what's so annoying. Like, their selfishness is so boring because it's so predictable, but you guys continue to support them and affirm their warped worldview by liking and engaging with their stuff and boosting their stuff up. It's like rubbish, because anyone with a semblance of human decency would look at their privileges, look at the fact that, wow, I got into uni, I am able to pay it off, I am safe and secure, I have some sort of housing, would be able to look at that and be like, yes, everyone deserves this. Everyone deserves to experience what I'm experiencing, but not Abba. Not Abba. Like, pure selfishness. Like, they just want to live in a world where they are always comfortable first.
Listen, if you're a student, particularly a UCT student right now, and your biggest issue is the fact that these protests are inconveniencing you, I'm going to need you to check your privilege. And I'm going to need you to do something productive with it. That means standing in solidarity with your fellow students, not crossing picket lines, and understanding that at the end of the day, the system is broken. Yes, you have a right to education, but that right to education is protected by the people protesting right now. Where would the institution put you if there wasn't people holding it to account right now? If you have to pay for a right, it means the system needs reform. That institution doesn't care about you. They care about the fact that you were able to pay to be there. Are those the boots you want to lick? Are those the boots you want to lick, babe? And at the end of the day, being financially excluded is not some kind of moral failing. You can do everything right. You can be on Dean's merit list. You can apply for the student loans that are exploitative and financially crippling. You can apply for the bursaries that are few and far between, especially for humanities students. You can attempt crowdfunding. Let's be honest, who has money in this economy? You can even apply at the UCT funding offices, who likely only see you as a number. You can apply for NSFAS, which we can see as a dumpster fire right now. You can do everything right and still end up in this situation. The only people who are safe right now are the people with privilege, the people with generational wealth to fall back on. Let's think carefully. Let's put our thinking caps on. The majority of this country cannot afford not to have a vested interest in this fight. The majority of the country cannot afford to be, talking down on student movements right now and then turn around on June 16th and celebrate Youth Day. Let's be productive. Let's turn our thinking caps on. But that's my 2 cents.